Hello and welcome to another episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kelby Bachman, and please give it up for the next guest on the show, Noah Southworth. So Noah is from Epworth, Iowa, and was a two-time state qualifier for the Bobcats. After placing sixth as a senior, Noah went to the University of Dubuque for a stint. He later enlisted in the Marines and served 6 years. Nowadays, Noah is out west as a firefighter in LA County. Noah has a great perspective on life, and that is what makes this episode so valuable. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy Noah Southworth. In the heart of West Union, Iowa, lies a hidden gem in Euphoria Coffee. Owned by local residents Nicole and Shane Havenstreit, they source everything they can from local vendors. From hot and iced drinks, to savory breakfast burritos, to baked goods, to botany tea, and even homemade waffles, Euphoria Coffee is a place your entire family can enjoy. You can find more information at drinkeuphoria.coffee2go.com or visit their Facebook page. And we also have a special gift just for you. Next time you stop in, you can get a free baked good with a $20 purchase. Just mention the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Euphoria Coffee. Our purpose is deeper than coffee. Wow, that is quite the setup you got there. Holy cow.
Yeah, this is my room.
Oh, it's your room?
Yeah, the one I have left.
Yeah. Wow, look at all that stuff. Jeez. Where do you park your car?
Outside. I don't use the garage for the cars.
All right. Well, I guess you don't get snow or anything, so what do you need to garage for?
Really.
Wow. All right, what'd you do this morning? You got a workout in? What'd you do?
Just did legs and just a teeny bit of biceps.
Just a little biceps?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Sorry, I'm admiring the equipment.
I know. I went blessed to buy a house in 21, and this is the one thing I did. Is got a good sized garage and filled it with all my workout stuff.
Geez, so how is that just stuff you've accumulated over the years, I assume?
Yeah. I am like a Facebook marketplace or garage sale scavenger. My wife kind of got me into it too, because it's just like, get other people's used stuff. So like, that's what I did for a long time when accumulating like my setup when I was working as like, I was like an EMT going to college, not making anything, I'd find cheap stuff I could get. But yeah, now I've kind of loaded it with better equipment.
Yeah, I was gonna say that looks like pretty nice equipment, so it's not.
Yeah, I've gotten definitely got some nicer stuff over the years.
I bet that is a pain to move though. Like if you ever plan on moving again.
Yeah, this seems more like a forever home.
Okay.
I think this is where I'm gonna stay. Some dreams of possibly building on the parents' farm back in Iowa, just so we have another place to lay our heads and the kids go visit.
Yeah. Do you get back to Iowa much?
Maybe like once a year now. Before it was even less. It's just a grind after I got out of the Marine Corps, like getting a job and like applying, and now I feel like we found a place where we're more settled, and life's gotten a little easier.
Good. So, actually, question about that. Getting out of the Marine Corps, like, I'm curious what direction you were headed after. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like athletics. Like you're an athlete for so long, and then all of a sudden you're done, and you're like, what do I do next? So was that kind of the similar thing with the Marines? Like you got out of the Marine Corps, and you're like, what now? Like, I don't have like this long resume. Like, were you kind of not lost, but kind of in a way where you're like, I don't know what to do next?
Yeah, in a way, but I would say, with my experience in the Marine Corps, there's a lot of challenges of overcoming. You're older, you have more conviction, but also I was tethered to a wife now, to where like I don't care. I'll scrape crap off the ground. I'm gonna feed her. Okay.
Yeah.
Like there's this sort of drive or more of a why that I had after getting out of the Marine Corps.
Hmm.
I just started going to college using my GI Bill and started working as an EMT. And you kind of have to humble yourself doing that because you come out of the Marine Corps sergeant, and now you're getting picked on by cocky firefighters over in Southern California. No idea who you are, but that's fine. Just yes, sir. What I say. But yeah,
Ooh, oof,
that
that'd
was
be
definitely
tough.
that was definitely the case when I got out of wrestling. Yeah, I mean, I feel like as a wrestler, I'm not sure how many years like everyone invests, but I mean, I did 14, 15 years ever since the age of 5.
Hmm.
And it's a lot of time to put into one thing, especially from like, I don't want to say indoctrinating, but like from a child, like this is what I was born to be.
Hmm.
And then once you get out, you're like, what do I do? I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's definitely important for parents out there to give your kids balance and show them that there's more out there in life too, but there's a lot you can learn from wrestling to be successful in whatever avenue you take in life.
Yeah. Did you scrape crap off the sidewalk? Is that why
No,
you said that? No, okay. I
no,
didn't know
I
if
mean,
like you were hinting that, I had to do that once actually, but
I have dogs. I mean, you got to do that every now and then. But
true.
no, just hinting that I would have done anything overdrive.
Yeah. So, you started at the age of 5, huh? That young. I mean,
Yeah,
I get that a lot
five or
actually when I
six.
talk to
It
people.
was five
Yeah.
or six around that time. I don't know, clear around that time. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was over in New Hampshire.
What's that?
I was over in New Hampshire when I started.
Really? I did that.
Yeah, I moved from New Hampshire to Iowa when I was 12.
Wow. Why?
Yeah. It's kind of funny. My dad was an avid hunter, like absolutely loved it. Born with a gun and bow in his hand. He obviously Iowa is a great place to move, but my brother decided to go to college at the University of Dubuque, and so essentially we followed him out here. Poor guy couldn't get away.
I know he tried so hard too. Uh,
Yeah, and
um,
my dad was pretty obsessed with my wrestling. Like pushing me to so he's like Iowa wrestling, get him out there. So it was win-win. It's like mama got to follow her oldest boy to college, dad gets some land to go hunting on, and then I get to have better wrestling, I guess. So
and wow. So why did your older brother even choose the University of Dubuque? I mean, you're in New Hampshire at the time, I always wonder how colleges like that get people from all over the coasts or whatever.
I think a lot of the time it's a balance between sports and the major they offer.
Yeah.
So if you're looking around, even when I was kind of going in the same field as my brother was computer graphics. And that's what my brother.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I used to make levels for these games online called like Red Faction and Unreal Tournament. They came with like level editors. I was kind of a nerd, artsy nerd.
All right. Cool. Cool.
But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, UD University of Dubuque offers computer graphics as well as wrestling and football, which my brother liked. So I remember when I was looking around, there weren't too many colleges I feel like that offered. Maybe there are now, but I know Fullerton out here offers that. I was looking over here too at one point.
Fullerton, huh? Okay. Wow. So you were in, where at New Hampshire were you until 12?
Uh, New Durham, that's on spoiled little kid, lived on a lake, Merry Meeting Lake.
Cool.
Uh, yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
Nice.
I got to do a
And
lot when I was a kid.
how'd you guys get into wrestling? With New Hampshire, the first thing I don't like when I think of New Hampshire, I don't think of wrestling. So like, how did you guys get into that?
Yeah, well, the great thing about wrestling is it's everywhere, and
Yeah, true.
whether you're the minority where you go up and you tell people you wrestle and they're like, you mean like with the ropes and cages? And
Yep.
when I was a kid, I would tell people that and they're like, I didn't even heard of wrestling.
Hmm.
I live in New Hampshire and I wrestled at a Lebanon Wrestling Club over in Maine, so I think I was close to the border. It's been a while, but
Yeah.
uh, I forgot what was your question. Yeah, it's my dad was he wrestled when he was growing up, and
Okay.
he went to the Naval Academy. He wrestled on their prep team. So he got my uncle did too, but he's pretty obsessed with the sport.
Wow. Okay. How'd you guys end up in New Hampshire to begin with then?
Um, think my parents grew up on the East Coast. My mom was Virginia. My dad was Maine. But my dad was military and, once getting out of the Marine, he was a Marine pilot, joined American Airlines. He's a airline pilot. He was stationed in Boston. So probably just decided to live there and then commute to Boston to fly out.
Nice. Sorry, this is all fascinating to me. I was like,
No,
all
ask
right,
this, man.
I'm like,
Like,
Noah's, I'm talking to this guy from Western Dubuque. Next thing you know, you're like, yeah, I lived in New Hampshire till 12. I was like, whoa, you're from New Hampshire? Because I'll tell you, I tried to do some recon, like obviously I need to do some homework on you and see who you are. And like, I couldn't hardly find anything.
good.
Good. I mean, I even asked a couple people from around that area. I'm like, hey, I'm talking to Noah Southworth. Like Jimmy Gatto was one of them. I'm like, do you know anything about this guy?
Yeah, he was 2 or 3 grades younger than me, I think.
Yeah, he was a freshman when you were a senior, so I knew it was kind of a little bit of a reach, but maybe, he lived there his whole life. The Gatto name.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe he might,
Sure.
but yeah, so that explains it. When you moved to Iowa, or when you were kind of told you were moving to Iowa, were you like, I mean, you're 12. I mean, was that difficult for you?
Not too much. It's funny, I was homeschooled until pretty much I got to Iowa, so dad had a lot of time just working with me. I had some friends, but not a lot. I mean, wrestling was what I did. I'm like, sure, I'll move. My sister was more of a fighter. She didn't like the fact that we're moving, but I was fine with it. I don't remember protesting, but I remember, just joking like, wait, we're moving from a lake in New Hampshire. State motto is live free or die. I'm like, what's Iowa? Bitcoin and data? Like, what is this? Like, in Iowa. But I say that, but not to offend. I'm just saying, remember what I was thinking at the time. Like, right. Iowa was a fantastic place. Some most wonderful people you meet. I mean, you go to Iowa for the people. I think it's people are wonderful there.
Was it intimidating then to like go to public school after being homeschooled for that long? Yeah.
I had no social skills whatsoever. It was thrown in a lion's den, I feel like. And it is definitely weird for me. I'm just trying to figure out what people like. I remember just being raised with a certain way. Like, you see like guys picking on girls, and the first thing you do is like you think like, what the heck is going on? Do I have to defend your honor, lady?
Yeah.
That's what they do. It's like the kids are in there. It's like so weirded out. I had no idea. I've never seen that interaction in my life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, certainly you had a little bit since you were wrestling, so I'm sure that that helped, the transition that you were actually involved in something. So,
It got me noticed in a weird way. Kind of funny. Like, I mean, I also did tackle football before I showed up too, and Iowa only had flag until I think like 7th or 8th grade.
Yeah.
It was like when I was there. So when to say at least when I got there, I was, I guess, a little more impressive than some of my counterparts were at, football and wrestling. So that kind of got me noticed. My dad used to, I don't know what he did. I used to go to the junior high practice and the high school practices when I was younger.
Wow.
So and I could actually beat, they're some of the starters on the wrestling team when I was in junior high. It was but that's funny. It's like that also got me dealt with that kind of teasing, the pecking order thing. You're younger, but also that's funny.
Yeah. Did you have some success out in New Hampshire? Like, did they have like an AAU circuit or things like that?
There was a tournament, and I can't remember how many. I wrestled in the Maine and New Hampshire state tournaments when I was a kid.
Really?
And I don't remember how many ones. I know I've won them both, but I can't remember how many times. So I was a kid. You have to ask my dad. Because I lived in New Hampshire, but I also wrestled in Maine. That's where my club was. So I did both tournaments when I was a kid.
Wow, I didn't know you could do that.
Ah.
So you won both. So you won both Maine and New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you.
I know.
How'd you do in
My
Iowa when you moved here?
what's that?
How'd you do in Iowa when you moved here?
I believe it was my 8th grade year. Gosh, man, my memory's terrible. Like, you have to figure. I was gonna give a let you know, like my memory's not the best. It's been such a long
That's okay.
time talking about wrestling or ever. So yeah, I forget. And I lost a pretty really good opponent. I remember seeing him. He had a really successful career. I remember. I think a lot. We went. I believe I got second in 8th grade.
Well, there you go. I mean,
But
I
high
bet.
school was. I suppose I never got all the titles or anything in high school. I
Mm,
beat some good wrestlers, but never got the first place I ever wanted.
yeah, I'm sure people like you moved here and you started winning, or you started showing some people, what you could do, and they're like, "Who's this kid?" Because you're not like the name, and especially back then when in 2004, or maybe 2002, like there were some hammers coming through Iowa, and you're probably
Mhm.
beating them or going toe to toe, and they've never heard of you because you're not from here.
Yeah, I mean, must have been something like that. I can't really remember.
Yeah. How did you guys land at Western Dubuque in the first place, or in Epworth?
I think it was just where my dad bought, some acreage.
Gotcha.
He
Okay.
has some good acreage over in outside Epworth, yeah. So he's got some
Gotcha.
land out there. So that's where I think he found the land. He probably, from knowing my dad, he researches everything to death before he does anything, which is a great quality. But I remember he probably looked at all the rest of the schools and where I should go. So I probably had the opportunity to go to the city. I think it kind of bordered these, whatever the districts. But yeah, we
Mhm.
chose Western Dubuque. I'm glad he did.
Yeah, and interesting that he chose Western Dubuque because at that time they were, I think there were some good kids around. Heck, I think even your junior year, Tom Danner took over, and it was like his first year. So like, if he was choosing it for wrestling specifically, like there may have been a different, potentially a different direction he could have
Yeah,
went, but
it wasn't a big wrestling school at the time.
right.
And definitely there's a big wrestling school that I think, yeah, Cleary just took that place off. In the most recent years that I haven't. I wish I'd paid attention more, but I've definitely been looking over my shoulder a little bit, looking at the school, and they've had some amazing people come through there.
Yes. Yeah. And you guys were kind of the catalyst for that a little bit. I mean, there had been some success, some individual success and whatnot, and your group, but with like you and Klusner and the Gansons and then Gatto, I mean, you guys kind of
Yeah,
started it there a little bit, or push the momentum further,
yeah,
I don't
it
want to
was a
discredit
fun
before
team.
you.
No, it was a great team. I love those guys, and a lot of them stayed behind and helped out. And uh, helped out the school. But I love the Ganson brothers. Really fun to wrestle against. They're they're just fun to wrestle. They both have their different styles, and they love their music. If we play some music sometimes in the wrestling room during live matches, and like if a
Yep.
good song came on, they liked. I swear they got a little better.
Yeah. Did,
You start to sing along a little bit.
Nice. You guys kept it light, which is, at times, which is necessary, I feel. At least for me and my
Yeah,
what team I
I
would
mean,
want to be on to be a little light, you know.
yeah, I discovered if you're doing anything difficult in life, you have to have I feel like a lighter attitude about it in order to be successful because it's a heavy load to take on. You
Yeah.
know, and any sort of difficulty, so you kind of have to feel a little lighthearted about it.
Yeah. How did the first couple years in high school go for you? Kind of warming up to varsity wrestling in Iowa and new school still kind of and just all that. If you
Oh
remember
man,
those. If you remember.
yeah. Well, it's funny. I remember like there was at least in wrestling, the first this came to my first. I remember we only used to wrestle like 20 some matches a year. I think like official matches, and then after my sophomore year, went up to like 40.
Yeah.
I do remember that sort of transition. You have to fact check me and talk to someone else in my era. I do remember like there was that big transition from my freshman sophomore year. Still learning the ropes on how to talk to other humans. After being homeschooled for
Yeah.
and just molded into a wrestler on my off time, and then learning I actually have to develop some social skills. So that was still learning all that my freshman sophomore year. You know, um, but yeah, I mean it's I don't know how to answer the question. It's just I haven't thought about it in a long time. It was just basically just working my tail off. Dad was always sending me off to wrestling camps here and there during the summer, and just trying to make friends during the off time.
Yeah, and I mean, you had a little group there that you could go with. Like we talked about the Ganson and Kevin Klusner, and I guess Jimmy Gatto was a little younger, but there was kind of a group of you that did you guys kind of form a little uh, club of your own, if you will, or just like a little Western Dubuque Bobcat wrestling circle that went places together?
Um, Wrestling wise, we'd go practice with some other teams that I believe do some camps, but hanging out outside of school, we actually, we're close, but we weren't like best friends. We always have kind of, I feel like we all had like different friend groups. We're all different grades too. So like, I
Yeah,
think we kind
right.
of, Klusner was like senior, I was a junior, and the Gansons were below me, and then like Gatto was below them. So I think we
True.
kind of like hung out with a little more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so the first 2 years of high school were building to your junior year. You actually won districts as a junior, right? And you beat Phil Sexton of Prairie. And I think Phil Sexton ended up winning state that year, and you beat him pretty handily.
Actually, even twice that year, I it was like 13-4 early in the year, and I pinned him, I think, at districts.
Wow.
Um, so that year, I came down with something. I feel like it was kind of a godsend in a weird way. I'd have to tell you about that later, but I got really sick. I was spewing everything out both ends, at the state tournament. There was talk about even wrestling at all. Um,
Wow.
I think I remember my coach like just carrying me off the mat after like my second match. I think I was just 2 and done. I went out there anyway, just trying my best, and it was just like had nothing in me. I was done. Got really, really sick. And yeah, I was up to to sit there and watch, after, working really hard, your whole life for that year, like seeing that opportunity kind of go past you and seeing somebody that you've beaten pretty good, or at least you had his number,
Hmm.
win. But that doesn't take anything away from him too, because he's a great wrestler, and he actually beat Stu Gilmore, which is another fantastic. I could never get he had my number, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's cool about wrestling is we all have our different styles. We all have, but yeah. So it was tough. I couldn't. Yeah, that was a tough time. I couldn't wrestle that year. I was just so sick. I never got to get the tournament, and then got to see someone else win that I felt like I could have beat. But yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. What did you come down with? Did you ever figure that out or
We
no?
knew it must have been some sort of flu or bug or something. I mean, we're much on hospitals back in the day. I don't remember. Like, you get sick, you just power through it.
Yeah.
So like I don't remember what I got on. If it was food poisoning or the flu, but whatever it wasn't good.
Yeah. Well, the little information I did find on you from back in that time, that summer, so going into your senior year, you and Michael Kelly went on a China tour in August. Do you remember that?
Yep.
How did
Yeah.
you like, what was that? I saw that and I'm like, what? I don't even know how you two got put on this. Like, what was that?
Well, that's my dad for you. He pulls out all stops. You know, Even growing up, I would get sent off to Ken Chertow's camp, so the rest of the family went on vacation. And then be probably because I think I was getting scouted by John McGovern from UD,
Okay.
and
Yep.
I think he had a connection, I believe a friend, and I think that he was going on this trip. I think he was talking to my dad. Somehow they worked it out, and so that was kind of more of like an official public trip. I think there was like 12 other wrestlers there. Went to the Beijing Wrestling Club. Was there for a couple of weeks. Just, it was we still went to like the Great Wall. We went to while we were there, but we training. But the year after that, 2008, is when I went back by myself. I don't know how old I was, 16, 17 or something, in 2008. Or no, I graduated in, so it would have been the summer right before my senior year. I went there by myself. Like the first time was kind of more of like a bunch of kids going on, a bunch of coaches. We did a little vacationing, we did a little wrestling. The second trip was here to completely train.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was so. Did you say that was after your senior year?
No, I before my senior year.
Oh, right before your senior year. Okay, okay. Do you think that helped you kind of get over the hump then your senior year? Because that was the year you kind of, I mean, you were already on the scene, but that's the year you placed, you know?
And now I'm trying to think now, like the first trip might have been before my senior, and the second trip might have been after. Like I'm trying to, think now that I think about it, like the second trip might have been. It's tough, man. I'm trying to think back. Now coming back into the UD like fitness test before wrestling, and it was
Yeah.
after I got back from my second. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It's been a while.
That's okay. Yeah, it's been like 18 years. I blame you for not remembering specifically everything that happened 18 years ago. I mean, I can't answer these questions. So, I just saw that. Like I said, I tried to do some recon and I found that, and I'm like, what? Like, you ended up going to China to wrestle, like for 2 weeks? I just was like, I don't know. I wanted to talk about that, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, my dad tried to send me to Ukraine after that, and I'm like, dude, I can't. Like, I feel like.
He tried sending you to Ukraine?
Yeah, well, there wasn't a war going on at the time. I mean,
Right. But
but
yeah.
but yeah, I'm like, yeah, he's alive. But I told him no on that one. I don't tell him. I didn't.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, that's not crazy. I don't want to say crazy, but that's
It is. It is.
yeah. Because typically when you're going and doing those things, like you're on, maybe a world team, or, you're wrestling internationally, Greco or freestyle or something, you know, not just like, hey, we signed you up, you're going to China.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like how things were growing up. Yeah. My dad would send me on all these different camps. Either with my brother or by myself, or we would travel to the AAU tournaments or the Ohio tournament champions. Even when I lived in New Hampshire, I used to go to that one.
Wanted to touch base because I, again, did some research. I saw a couple Facebook posts that you had with Zach McCool. How'd you meet up with Zach McCool and kind of become friends with him?
Okay, you have to forgive me. It's been a while. Zach McCool. It sounds familiar, and I'm having a hard time placing Zach.
So he went to West Delaware.
West Delaware. Okay.
Manchester.
Wait, did you graduate? Did I end up wrestling him?
So here's the couple Facebook posts I found. I thought these were funny. You wrote on his Facebook wall, you're like, I think I'm 31-2. I wrestled like a dumbass against Gilmore. I lost that match before I even stepped foot on the mat. It was all mental. It's kind of funny that my match with Gilmore was unlucky 13. The other match I lost was against Xavier. I lost in overtime. Other than that, my season's been good. It's hard to believe though that our high school wrestling career is almost over. What weight are you going to at conference?
Hmm. Yeah, I should have never been allowed to have a Facebook at any point. I think most kids should be allowed to have any sort of social media. And it was literally had just started too. I remember I had to get like some sort of college email when I was in high school just to get one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I have no idea, honestly, if we ever knew each
Here's
other.
another one. You
Hey,
wrote again. What? One more. I promise. Last one. Uh, the next day you wrote, "I got pinned. I know it's unforgivable." I just thought that was kind of funny. It's unforgivable.
as
Um,
someone who was allowed to sleep on his back as a kid, I mean, my dad like sleep on your side.
are you serious?
Oh, I'm serious.
He wouldn't let you sleep on your back?
Yeah, my household was kind of crazy. The one to grow up in.
That's fun. That's kind of funny. Um, but then you also said, I beat Tweedo from Cedar Falls over the summertime, and he beat Gilmore. Sometimes I get myself too worked up when it comes time for me to wrestle a big match, and I do terrible. I actually just started seeing this sports psychologist, and he's really helped me out this year. Good luck this year. Where are you thinking about going to college? Um, the reason I bring that up was it's kind of funny that you said, I got pinned. I know it's unforgivable. But also, do you remember kind of that mentality of, sometimes you're going out there and the name kind of psychs you out, or the match or the lights, or, do you remember anything like that?
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember. Um, yeah, it's funny. Trying to think about the mentality of someone who works so hard and just wants to win. I mean, you can't. It's hard to fault any young man that is wants that. Um, yeah, I remember getting butterflies before every match. It's
Every match?
oh yeah, I felt like I always had to take a big dump. Those little butterflies. Yeah, every time I walk.
Yeah.
Always- it didn't matter who I was wrestling. I always felt like it's a little bit of a stage fright. Maybe it's a little shyness, but once the whistle blew, it was over. I was game time.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I had a lot invested, and I really wish I had more of a mentality that could have made me, I feel like, last longer in the sport.
Yeah.
Because one of those things where I remember looking at the JV kid who'd run, waltz out on the mat, get pinned in 15 seconds, and come back and start goofing off with his friends. And part of me was like a little jealous of him because he was so carefree and enjoyed the sport. Where like I had so much like stress and intensity and anxiety in a way where like so much was invested that I had to win. And when it didn't happen, I mean, I won a lot, but when it
Mhm.
didn't happen, I think I suffered too much of a loss in a way where it wasn't just a loss, like when you got a loss in your record, it was like, it was hard to recover from because like I was not supposed to lose. I worked too hard to lose.
Mhm.
And it was hard to forgive myself for losing. So it made it hard.
Yeah.
And I wish I had a better mentality to where it's like, I could tell, hey, it's okay, get them next time.
Mhm.
If you just I try to tell my kids, the quicker you can reset. I mean, they haven't started wrestling yet, but just in anything in life, like you can't get so worked up. I mean, you gotta be able to reset and just keep on moving and brush off your shoulder. Yeah, the quicker you can reset, the better you can do. But yeah, it was hard, suffering
Yeah.
those losses.
When did you start to find that mindset of, all right, I need to reset, or all right, this thing that I'm about to do isn't the end of the world. Like this is just, like you said in wrestling or in life, like whatever that thing is, it's just another step in the right direction. Like it's not, if it doesn't go your way, the world's not going to end. You're still healthy, your family's healthy, you have a wife and kids, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh man, heck, and I think it didn't. think everything didn't really start to culminate, or I didn't really start to mature in that aspect till probably, getting back from Afghanistan, my time in the Marines, really healing from all that, and actually having a good home life where, like, I built my own family, and becoming a leader and suffering many, many losses and recovering from those losses, having the experience of doing that, whether it was from wrestling or in real life, you know, they're always going to keep coming. You're always going to have to get back up and keep on moving. You can dwell on it, suffer, or you think of solutions and find comfort and move on. And I feel like as a young person, I don't know what kind of experiences you have to have or be nurtured and taught to actually have a good mentality like that. But it took me time outside of the sport to kind of realize, a loss is a loss and you just kind of move on. I do think like there's a mentality I want to teach my kids, and I hope that they can get it before I ever learned it later in life. That there's it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I relate to it. Like when I used to wrestle, every match I would feel the same way. No matter if I knew I was going to win, even though you never really know because there's always that chance you could lose. But like if I felt like I was the better wrestler, I would always get the same butterflies, and I would always make the match no matter what it was more than what it was supposed to be. It's just a wrestling match. So like I can relate that, man, when I was 18, I mean that was like life. It was like life or death, you
Yeah.
know. And if you lose, it's like how embarrassing. I just lost in front of all my friends, my family, my coaches, like everyone just saw me lose, you know. So the reason I'm kind of diving into this a little bit is because I feel like there's still people out there today that feel that same way and who are going through the same thing and who feel like we felt, you know. So it's just good to hopefully get that out there that, hey, it's just a wrestling match. Do your best to put yourself in a spot to succeed and let the chips fall where they may, essentially.
Yeah, I also, just me and my wife, we like to read together, and one of the books I've been reading is kind of a book on parenting. And reading some stuff from that kind of like hits from home a little bit. I'm like, man, that's true. Is I'll never fault my parents for anything. I think they did a great job raising me, but there can be, I feel like, something that happens with a lot of high performance athletes where I don't, maybe I can say this in a way where like you have too much invested. Um, I'm not saying anyone should try less or not push themselves as hard, but they need to know they are something else besides just this wrestler.
Yeah.
You're more than that. Like you're more than your performance. You're more than, um, like you can't just only praise them when they do good or only praise them for the wrestling. Because I think that for some people stay in the sport forever. They become coaches and they retire. That's great. But for the vast majority, wrestling is not going to be their entire life. It's going to be a vehicle and a tool to help you succeed at life. I truly believe that's helped me succeed in life. Definitely has, but yeah, there's got to be some other avenues for them to realize that, uh, there's more to life. I can't remember who it was, but great wrestler. I think he won state or something around the time I was going to school, and he went to college and did baseball instead. And at the time, I was like, what? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me. How can someone choose not to wrestle when they've been doing it their whole life? Like, it blew my mind. Like, I had no idea we can do other stuff. Like, yeah. But yeah, it's interesting how heavy you can make that even as a young person.
Yeah. So I wonder if the guy you're thinking of is Jimmy Waters. So he was a three-time state champ from Lewis Central. I think he was a four-time finalist, and he went and played baseball at Kansas.
Hmm.
And so, yeah. Um, And people still to this day will give him crap for it, because I think he's involved in the sport. I think he's a coach somewhere in the Omaha area here, I believe. And so people will still, give him a hard time that he didn't go wrestle at college. I think he had a decent career at Kansas playing baseball, but yeah,
I think that's awesome that he chose what he wanted to do. I mean, that's fantastic.
yeah. So you went to University of Dubuque. Was it like a foregone conclusion that you were going to go to UD? Was there like another option other than Dubuque?
Yeah, I remember looking co-college, I think was looking at me at one point, but yeah, somehow I went there. I don't remember how much of it was, being pushed to go there or my decision, but yeah, they had the computer graphics program that thought I wanted to start with, and yeah, so that was I think it was kind of a foregone conclusion. I was already went to China with the coach over there and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So talk about that trip to China again, because a little bit got cut off. Your dad got you kind of signed up to go to China with Michael Kelly. You guys went over there for like 10 days or 2 weeks to
Yeah,
Beijing, right?
mm, yeah. I just do what
What?
I'm told, you know.
Yeah,
It
what
was
was
fun.
that like though?
I mean, it was fun. There was some other wrestlers there, like I don't know, like 10 other wrestlers or so, like you said, and I went there for like 2 weeks and wrestled with their team, practiced with the Beijing Wrestling Club over there. It was like, but it was one of those publicized trips where, like, went to go see the Great Wall. You went to all these other locations, which were cool to see, and had to have some fun and some wrestling too. As the second trip, I said was a little different.
Yeah. Did you did you ever have McDonald's while you were over there?
Oh, yeah,
If
I
you
think
remember?
so.
Really?
Yeah,
Ah, yes. Well, I wonder how it was. If you remember.
no,
Nope.
I remember.
Dang.
I think I had it, but I don't remember how different one. I don't think it's like the Japanese McDonald's where like I've seen that advertised where you're like, what? It's a completely different animal
Right.
over there.
Oh,
Seeing
okay.
eating sushi or something at McDonald's.
Dang, okay. Yeah, I was wondering that. Because I think you're right. I think maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Japan McDonald's
Mhm.
is like, what is it?
Yeah,
So how did you end up in the Marine Corps then? So you go to UD. Were you there for like 2 years?
try a semester.
A semester? Hey, I was there. I
Yeah,
was a semester at Iowa. So,
yeah.
happens. I wasn't, I'll be honest, like I wasn't prepared. Basically, I started to realize like, hey, I don't have to go to class. No one's making me go to class. Like in high school, if you go to class, like you have to, otherwise your parents are right there and they're gonna be like, get to class, get to school. But not in college. And I was like, whoa, I don't have to go. And so I didn't go, So
I being kind of in a similar boat and what we were talking about earlier. I think ending your high school wrestling career and when you go to college, you're restarting in a little way. It's like, all right,
sure.
nobody cares what you did in high school. I don't care if you're a four-time state champ or you never won anything. You get on the mat and like you make yourself new again over here, and
Mhm.
it's a different animal. It's tough, and um, when you go to college, it's a whole new thing. You're out of your parents' home. You have some sort of freedom,
Yeah.
to do what you want. And a lot of kids go off and do some stupid stuff like I did. Um,
And me.
but yeah, but
Same.
I don't think my why was strong enough. Um, I think I don't know if I want to use the term like I was burnt out, but whatever happened and transpired from transitioning from high school wrestling to college, I didn't have enough in me to want what was needed to be successful in college. I didn't have, I didn't know where to go.
Hmm.
Like I had this drive, like to be tough. And that's what I was rated from, like indoctrinated from 5 years old until up, but I didn't have an avenue anymore. Um, didn't have the passion for wrestling I used to. And so, just see, like you said, the other avenues are just hanging out, doing whatever you want. But I realized that I even tried going to school in New York after that. I went to school in Oneonta, did another semester over there.
Really?
Yeah. And, I'm trying to do my best over there, resetting, like, okay, like I'm at this wrestling club over here. I'm going to do that. And NCAA's contacted the school stating I didn't complete enough credits at UD in order to wrestle over there. So I wasn't eligible. And whatever fuel I had left in the tank after that was just, I didn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Once that, they took, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I just fell off the deep end, didn't want to go to class, didn't want to do anything productive. And, I left, came back home. And that was like, that big impasse for like, what am I going to do with my life? I want to just like get a local construction job, I'm young and everything. I had the one avenue where like, oh, this is the one thing I'm good at is being tough. Or where else can I show people I'm tough, right? So there we are, Marine Corps infantry.
Before that though, you did end up with a sixth place medal, your senior year. You fell short as a junior, but to be able to cash in, I know you work for that state title, but to come away with a little bit of hardware with something that you can show your kids, was that pretty impactful to, I mean, maybe at the time it was disappointing, but I mean, how was it when you got sixth that year? I mean, you guys took 5 to state.
Yeah, I remember getting interviewed, and I remember saying something along the lines of being more proud of this sixth place medal than like maybe getting a first over in like New Hampshire. Like I was in Iowa, and wrestled my heart out, and that's what I got. So yeah, it was definitely impactful. And I was, as a grown older adult here, I'm actually thankful I didn't get what I wanted now.
Wow.
When you're young and you get what you want, maybe it could lead to a bigger head. Maybe it could lead to, I don't know. I'm just, I'm happy now that, I was left with more of a feeling of wanting more, not getting what I wanted, because I think it pushed me down a path that later in life where, I don't know, just thankful, I guess. I don't know where I could have been, but I'm just thankful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, looking back, hindsight, I mean, where you're at now, you're like, yeah, I'm happy. So why would I change anything? But you were at a crossroads right there when you were done wrestling, you come back to your parents' house and it's like, what's next? But I thought it was impactful when you said that your why, you didn't have a strong enough why.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just relatable to everybody everywhere in life. Like, what is your why and how strong is that why? So your why at the time just wasn't strong enough to keep you going. Um, but you come back, and then how did you wind up in the Marines? Because, like you said, there were some different directions you could go. Construction, you could have went to Piasta.
Yeah. I think part of that was that wrestler's like pride where, I wasn't done. I still thought I was something. I thought never got what I was supposed to get, or I wanted to be tougher than what I was. But also I felt that I didn't like who I was becoming or could become. Like, am I just going to be some guy who just like, yeah, my highlight of my week is going to be buying a 30 rack on a Friday night. That was just a self-assessment. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. And I'm just like, I don't want this. I need something bigger for myself. And whether it's, I'm either going to die trying or I'm just going to, go somewhere and figure it out. And I also I feel like I needed maybe a little bit of an attitude adjustment. One thing in wrestling is it makes you tougher to realize, it gives you a hard attitude. And so when you kind of see yourself maybe veering off from the fact, you at least have a little self-awareness. that you need some correction because, I feel like that's where I was at. So I felt like the Marine Corps could help me do that.
Yeah. This is good. This is great stuff. Personally, I think it's great. Well, it's really, yeah, self-assessment. Okay, where am I going in my life? This is where it looks like I'm headed. Do I want to be that Noah Southworth? Is that who I
Yeah.
want to be? No. And that could be true for anybody. Where are you at? Where are you right now? And truly, where do you see yourself going? What path are you going down? You know? And is that what you want to do? Okay. Then you gotta be okay with it. And you clearly were not okay with it. So you decided to do probably one of the toughest things and join the military. I mean, there's no getting out of that. Like when you're in, you're in. And so you
Yeah.
sign up and you go to the Marines. And if you can remember, were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you like, what the hell am I doing? Like, because at that time you're like, what, 19? I mean,
I turned 21 in boot camp. Yeah, I remember turning 21 when I was in boot camp. So I was 20 at the time.
yeah,
Yeah. But what we were talking about a little earlier is that, at least I think what wrestling at least what had ingrained in me
yeah,
was not to stay stagnant. You're
yeah,
always pushing, at least in some direction. So I think that served me pretty well in life. Even if I was at an impasse and I didn't know where to go, I had to go somewhere. And
yeah,
I think that's probably why I felt like I didn't want to. If I stayed in Iowa, if I stayed or just got a job, I felt like that was maybe staying stagnant.
yeah,
And so, I felt like I had to push to higher ground.
yeah.
So yeah, that was a big thing. But you're definitely gonna be a little nervous. You're about to head into the crazy area of camp. Got a bunch of crazy little drill instructors spitting in your face and yelling at you. But my dad was never enlisted. He was an officer in the Marines, but he gave me a little coaching. And if I could, my mentality is if I could handle being raised by that man, I could easily handle a drill instructor. They were like lambs compared to that guy.
Yeah.
Uh,
You know, it, it's
he's
it
tough on you.
remind it reminds me of there's that meme that goes around every once in a while, or that thing on Facebook. I don't know, it says like, "Oh, you think you're tough? Well, you never had to hold the flashlight for my dad or something growing
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
something like that." And I just um gosh, yeah, I mean it sounds like your dad was tough, but there was
yeah.
also some maybe some love there too. Like I don't want to make him sound like he was just an a-hole yelling all the
No,
time.
no, only some of the time. No, he was
Yeah.
great. I, and again, looking back as a a man with my own family and children, it's like again just so thankful I had a dad that pushed me. Man,
Yeah.
like so many people out there are so lost and alone because they weren't pushed hard enough, or they never were told they could be something bigger. And even though maybe that could be taken too far, possibly at times where like kids could possibly get pushed too far, I think it's better than to get not pushed at all. And um, yeah, I'm super thankful for my dad who, when I look back, took so much time to train me and to nurture me and to spend the money to ship me off to all these different places and stuff. So it's definitely served me so well in life, and definitely thankful.
Yeah. Except for Ukraine. You didn't
Wait,
you were not going
I
to Ukraine.
already knew that was a bad idea before
So you get in the Marines. What was that journey like?
man, Wild West for sure. I
Was
mean,
it really?
yeah, I mean,
Wild West.
it's wild. You get there and you get through boot camp and it's just all craziness. It's controlled chaos.
Huh.
That's what it is. And you definitely learn to mind your P's and Q's over there. I mean, it's just your every action, the way you breathe. I mean, everything is under scope. You
Hmm.
know, the way you talk. I mean, everything. And then you have these guys in your unit from all around the country. I mean, you're when you're hanging out. One person's West Side LA gangbanger or something. The other guy is a redneck from Texas, and then you got corn-fed Midwestern guy, and you're all best friends.
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
just rip just ripping on each other for all your quirks or the way you talk. It's just It's a fantastic place. I feel like everyone needs to experience it in some fashion. It's kind of like being on the wrestling team where, you become closer with those people based off the challenges that you guys overcome and are with.
Yeah. Did you ever break and have to like build yourself back together? I know that's kind of a deep question. I'm sorry, but
No, yeah, that was definitely the hardest part of my life for sure was
because you're kind of like out there on your own, and so I guess the reason why I asked this question is because there are probably people who are on their own or people who break and like they have to sometimes as even if you have the support, you have to build yourself up yourself, like it's wrestling, no one else can make you when you lose.
and I think that's like you said, losing. It's one thing wrestling teaches you well is how to lose, and you should learn how to lose because regardless, life's hard and you're going to lose. You will
Yeah.
lose loved ones, you will lose jobs, everyone's a loser. You're going to lose something. And
Everyone's a
so,
loser. Yep.
yeah, you're learning how to cope and build yourself back up from that is a great skill wrestling can teach you. But yeah, I remember Afghanistan was a tough trip. We
Did you go there once?
yeah, I went there once
One time.
in 2011. But yeah, it was rough. I mean, we lost 17 guys from my battalion and 4 from my foot. 3 from my platoon. And yeah, I went through a lot of challenges over there. I got wounded myself in a lot of gunfights, a lot of explosions, and saw a lot of suffering. And so coming back, I did feel just kind of lost and broken again. Another place in life where it's like this was different. You come back with survivor's guilt, but you also just like physiologically are in a heightened state of stress to where you're not okay in a way where your body doesn't exactly recognize that it's not there anymore, even though like you're home. So yeah, there was definitely a rebuilding that had to take place after coming home.
How'd you do that?
I give all my credit to God. He found me again, and I think I had to be broken a little bit to hear His voice. I think you're constantly trying to do stuff for you your whole life as a young kid, and then you finally come back and you realize there's a point where you just absolutely need Him. I think He sent me my wife in a way where I met her when I got back, and I'm doing my best to maintain, and then it's like I meet this girl I really like, and I'm like, okay, crazy person, let's not scare her.
Where'd you meet her? So when you came back, did you come back to Epworth?
No, it's still in California. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I found myself a fiery Latina, and I stayed out here. I love it.
Sorry, Latina.
No, fiery.
Oh, fiery Latina. How
I,
did you two meet?
we met at a wedding actually. My one of the guys from my unit was marrying someone she knew. So I saw her at the rehearsal, kind of walked in and started talking to her at the wedding.
And you didn't scare her away?
No, what was funny is she actually used to be a wrestler.
What?
Yeah, that's what was so funny.
No
like,
way.
we were talking to her like I was having a couple drinks, enjoying myself, and just early in the night.
Yeah.
And I started talking to her. We're just hanging out at the bar at the venue, and she's like, "Well, I'm actually not really allowed to drink here or anything because I work at this casino as well because it's employee policy sort of thing." Because her and the bride both work there, and like we're hanging out the whole time. Like I don't think I had another drink the entire night because like I was just enjoying my conversation with her. Just stopped, and then all my friends would come up with their uniforms falling apart. Just like my friend's wife crying like, "Can you help maintain my husband?" I'm like, "I'm busy right now." Yeah, so I just we talked all night. I invited her on a date. We even went out to the local bowling alley right next door while everyone else was still at the wedding to talk more. Yeah, we just hit it off. And it's funny. I remember mentioning like, oh yeah, I used to wrestle. And she had this big smile on her face, like what? Like she just did, I think she just did like a couple years in high school, nothing like what I did, but it was still such a funny connection.
Wow. And back then, I mean, women's wrestling wasn't obviously it wasn't near what it is now. So the odds of finding a woman wrestler,
Yeah,
were like slim to none.
it started. I think they were the first ones at their high school.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah. And is she from California?
Yeah, born and raised.
Wow. I mean, I should say, oh, what a cute story.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah. No, that is fun. And so, like you're saying, kind of God puts pieces in place when you feel like you don't need them the most, but you actually do, and here you are, bang, here's your fiery Latina.
Yeah.
What's her name? Samantha?
Rebecca.
Rebecca, sorry.
No, I was in it close enough.
Rebecca, nice. Um, so you get out, did you get out of the Marines by then? Or were you still
I
enlisted?
got out in 2016, right at the end of 2016. I did 6 years from '09 to 16 as a single contract, interview contract.
Yeah.
And so I got out around then and just started using my GI Bill and trying to again figure out what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But a few in my life, I just had to do that.
Yeah. It's just a fascinating story that like at several points you came across this crossroads. Like, what's next? What am I going to do next? I don't know what I'm going to do next. But you always seem to find the next thing. I mean, what is it? Can you explain what you keep doing? Besides, you just keep pushing forward essentially, and
Yeah. Again, I'm someone who's blessed. I truly believe God's been, working through me and with me the entire time, whether I knew it or not. But if
yeah,
I could say anything, what I've learned in life is continue to show up
yeah,
every day. Yeah. It's, that whole adage, how to eat a whole elephant is one bite at a time. There's insurmountable, impossible odds out there, or things that you're the inner man, the weak one into you will tell you that it's impossible, or like why even try, or things like that. So just show up the next day, and 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 then sure enough, you'll look back and you're going to be like, wow, like how did I even get this far?
mm-hmm.
And so yeah, there's I think, like, again, we talked about the why. I mean, sometimes you might not even have that, but those are the hard times that keep showing up. Is when it's like I don't have a why, or I don't have this, but you just have to keep working. And there's times where even after I got married and we're just going to school and we're getting donations from the Saddleback Church just to get some enough food in the house, because we're both just trying to get school done. Or I started working as EMT, making minimum wage out here in expensive California. It's tough, but having a little faith and just keep pushing is it works.
Where'd you go to school then out there?
Oh yeah, I started going to school at Saddleback College is a school out here that's just a what do you call it, junior college, and just started getting all my gen eds done. And you'd be surprised how much better you do in college when you have a family to support. Like I was getting like a 3.7 GPA. Like I'm like, this stuff's easy. As long as you apply yourself. Hey, listen, kids. As long as you apply yourself and actually go to college, you'll get good grades. If you go out and drinking and stuff you won't.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, some can. I was friends with kids, and some of my good friends were absolute professional alcoholics. Right? I don't know how they did it. They're all doctors and like lawyers and like engineers, and those are the special weird ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask if you went to Fullerton because I thought you said that was one that you were thinking about potentially, or maybe that was your brother.
saying how like some not many schools offer that major and it also
Oh,
has
right.
and I remember seeing that one. My wife actually didn't end up graduating from that school.
She did?
Yeah.
Wow. And
Yeah, we already
did
had
you
our
end,
daughter at the time.
yeah. So you went to Saddlebrook. What'd you graduate with?
I think I graduated. No, I was getting all my gen eds done there, and then I got
Hmm.
a job as an EMT.
Okay.
Um, and then I discovered the route I was going to go was fire out here. Firemen are paid pretty well out here, and it sounded like a really interesting job that handled all my interests. Was just getting to do a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got my EMT license in the summer, and I started going to school. And then once I started like went to a college fire academy to get all my certifications. Took a break from college just because that was the path I was doing. Started working full time while my wife was finishing up school, and then I went to paramedic school. I was only there for a few months before I got the job offer to work for LA County Fire. And at that point, I got the job I wanted. I'm working full time, and so I put a pause on schooling because go to school
Right.
so you can get a good career. So once you got the career, maybe someday I'll finish up online because I have a ton of credits. They're just floating around. I'm sure I could just need a little bit more schooling just to get an actual 4 year.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What's it like being a firefighter out there in LA County like that? I mean, when I think of firefighters, like my dad was a volunteer firefighter in Monona, Iowa, Clayton County, every so many weeks or whatever, he'd be on call or he'd have the pager. Like, you know, he's a volunteer, pretty
yeah,
relatively low key, but I guess try to introduce me to LA County and what that's like.
yeah. It's a full time gig out here. We work 24 hours. We'll have a day off in between, and then we'll work another 24. Uh, and then we'll have some days off. We'll do that. We'll keep rotating around that schedule. Um, if you're working overtime, you can work several days in a row. But you're living at the fire station. You have beds there. You guys cook together.
Really?
You guys work out in the morning, and you guys train together, and you guys run calls. And it could be a wide gambit of any emergency you can think of. We'll get called out for the craziest thing. But I love it because you're constantly learning. You'll never know enough out here. There's so many things, whether it's you're learning how to force entry through a multiple variety of doorways. You're learning how to cut holes in the roof to ventilate a fire. You're learning how to put out a fire. Um, the medical side of things, we in California, the firefighters take over the medical side. So I'm a firefighter paramedic. Finished up
Oh, okay.
finished up paramedic school recently through LA County. They paid for me to go back.
An
Uh,
accelerated
yeah,
program.
accelerated program. Yeah, that was absolutely another thing where I had to like grit my teeth with. My wife's a superstar. She had to take care of all those kids on her own
Yeah.
while I went to school because you stop studying for 1 minute, you're not going to pass. It's
Mhm.
a lot. But yeah, so it's I love it. I'm out here on some call squad, and some days I'll have my engine days where I'm engine firefighter. But yeah, we respond to anything from like someone in cardiac arrest, someone having anaphylaxis. I mean, there's just anything. And
Mhm.
so I love the fact that like again, controlled chaos.
Yeah.
It's my life. It was everything
Yeah.
when I was 5 years old till now. Like literally, I was raised from like 5 to just be in this chaotic environment to like you learn how to control another person's body and put your will
Mhm.
on his will and try to pin this person, control the chaos in that manner. It's like a Marine Corps, and you have to like be in this wild, crazy area and like learn how all that. And I feel like everything is kind of leading up to me really enjoying this job
Mhm.
because you're out there in the chaos, but you get to be in control of it in a way. You get to bring it to submission and calm the storm, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Even though things can get crazy over here too, I'm kind of used to it by now. And
Yeah.
yeah, I absolutely. I'm a kid in a candy store. You
Yeah.
know, you get to kind of person gets to grab like big power kit equipment, cut up a car. You get
Mhm.
to push drugs on people in cardiac arrest. You have to do all these cool put out fires, go up a hill and brush fire. It's I cannot say it enough. It's one of the coolest jobs ever.
Yeah. I got a couple questions about being a firefighter,
Yeah,
especially out in LA. One, do you slide down the poles? Like, is that an actual thing? You know,
you
do you have the
can.
pole?
Because there's still some old stations that have the old pole there, and
Okay.
so yeah, you can ride that pole
Okay.
anytime.
Okay.
You
Because
wanna
like,
ride
you see it
that
on
pole?
TV shows all the time, but like,
Oh
I'm like, is
yeah,
that actually real?
yeah. They haven't taken them out of some of the older stations, so they're still there. You can not too many of them, but it's a thing.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Not
Cool. And
often,
also, what's that?
not often used. It's more of a just a relic.
Yeah. Um, Another question. How many times do you get called out to rescue a cat in a tree? You know, that's kind of the other old adage of like, oh, come help me, my cat's in the tree, and the firefighter comes out and is on the extended ladder trying to get the cat out of the tree. I mean, is that real too? Like,
I think this is some sort of strange thing that's been, taught to too many kids because my kids are watching this Bubble Guppy show and they're like, "We save cats in trees," talking about firefighters. Like, no, we do not. No, we do not. We're teaching all
okay,
these kids, and they're getting older. They're going to be calling about it because we've gotten way too many calls. In my 5 short years I've been here, I've gotten way too many calls about saving some sort of cat. And what we tell
seriously,
people, it's like they're going to come down on their own. We're not risking we're not risking our safety to go up into this tree and pull down a cat.
you tell them
Yeah,
no, you're like, yeah,
yeah,
no.
it's all no. It's just not a real emergency. Cats can come down on their own. It's it's you do a risk analysis. Like I'll do whatever it takes to save a person, but a cat, I'm sorry, leave that thing.
Have you ever gone out there just because it's such a slow day or whatever, and you're just like, oh, fine. She keeps calling, 5, 10, 15, 100 times, like, come get my cat. Like, do you ever just,
Oh yeah,
fine.
there's one time we went out there because we getting a personal call to the station. Yeah, we explained it twice to this person. Then all of a sudden we get station alarm goes off and we have a medical run and it says 50-something-year-old female fell off a ladder, exact same address where the cat call came from, and we're like, come on. The old bat tried to go herself and she fell off the ladder and we told you to leave this. And it's like, gosh.
So you go out there and get the cat out of the tree.
No, we went and took the lady to the hospital. Like we should, but
Oh,
yeah, it's not a thing.
that's funny.
Stop,
Okay,
stop talking about cats and trees. They have claws. They climb up. They climb down.
got it. Firefighters do not save cats and trees. Okay, we put that myth busted, right?
I mean, that's
Um,
just from my own experience. I don't know how other departments do this thing.
yeah.
I've saved some kittens in a hole before. That's different.
Kittens in a hole.
Well, like some mom must have given birth to some hole in some hole outside someone's house, and I went down there and picked them up out of there. So there's that.
Yeah.
That's too
Okay.
much cat experience in my time.
There you go.
Like,
So you're not anti-saving cats, okay?
I'm not
For the
anti-saving
record.
cats, but like putting up a ladder, someone putting in, you climbing up to grab this cat, it's not worth the risk, seeming as they come down on their own later.
Yeah. The last question about firefighter, well, maybe not the last one, but mustaches. Okay, that's the other adage or
Yeah.
thing about firefighters. Do you have to have one? Like,
Yes, it's
if you
required.
don't have one, are you
Most security
fired?
departments
Like,
have to have one. No. uh, it's one of those things where for us, we're not allowed to have facial hair just due to our mask seal on our SCD.
oh, true.
So,
Okay.
but you can, since it doesn't touch the upper lip, you can have a mustache. And there's supposed to be grooming standards like there is in the Marine Corps, like corner of the mouth, this, that, but no one follows that. And so you'll see some pretty wild mustaches out there. So yeah, that's the thing for us is I think a lot of police departments are kind of the same thing where it's like they can't have, they're allowed to have a mustache. That's why you see that so often in like cops and, firemen. And then I think firemen's grooming standards are probably more lax or they're not as policed as much. That's why you kind of see more of an outlandish or bigger mustache from firemen.
Mhm.
So it's there. Plus, actually, I heard a little bit of history is I guess before like before we had breathing apparatuses, like if you had a really long mustache, it would somehow make like a makeshift filter or something for you, or
Really?
like it would catch like all the snot coming out of your nose uh, when you're bringing all that smoke. So
Yeah.
instead of it coming into your mouth, I think that second one might have been what I heard.
Um, no, a question about just when you kind of relax, okay? Like you have a high stress, high paced job, high stress job, controlled chaos. You got kids, you got all this going on. What do you do to take a second for yourself to just like, all right, I need to just center myself. I need some Noah time. Like, what do you do?
I probably need more of that, and like I've done. Man, anytime you go out in the nature and do like a hike, or you go out and like you just the only sound you hear is maybe like the wind or some streams. Like, man, I need more of that. I think that
Mm,
does some good. Uh, so I do enjoy those kind of trips whenever I can get them. But right here is where I love it. I
yeah,
just I love spending my time in the gym. Um, Maybe it's not like the most relaxing time, but as far as like you want to say like sitting back and relaxing, but it's one of the few hobbies I have left, and I absolutely love it.
yeah,
Um, I find peace in reading my scriptures. I think waking up in the morning early, having some coffee, and starting your day out with God's word is a wonderful way to start your day, and it brings you peace throughout the day. So
hmm
there's that. I don't make it a Bible study as much as I should, but I used to go out and usually every Thursday night and do that. But since I was in medic school, I've been so busy and haven't gotten back to that. But
yeah,
yeah, I just it's funny. Like I don't feel like I require that much me time.
mhm.
I don't know, like spending time with the wife and kids is awesome. I just love doing that. And if you just give me enough time to get my workout in, or just have a few minutes throughout the day just to relax, I mean that's it. That's all I need.
Yeah, yeah. Any uh, any chance of getting back involved in wrestling in some capacity, or as a coach, volunteer, or, anything like that?
Yeah, I have two sons. They're both 5 and 7, and they haven't officially gotten on the mat yet. Ever since they were babies, they've had a 10 by 10 wrestling mat in the house. And
Really? Okay.
but I haven't been really been. I just more goof around with them on there. Like, it's funny. You'll see kids do things naturally that they've never even been taught before. Like I had, half Nelson or something. You're like, I never taught you. They just figured this out from goofing off with their siblings.
Yeah.
And my kids have done a lot of that, and I've messed around with them on the wrestling mat, but I haven't an official capacity brought them to practice. I've taken them to Cal Baptist wrestling meets. They'll have Iowa actually came down and
Yes.
scrimmaged them. They got to see that. That was pretty
Yes.
cool. They've gotten a little taste of the sport. Um, I think part of just being so busy with getting my job and getting
Yeah.
schooling, I haven't officially dropped them into it yet, but also just letting them be kids, enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, soon, like real soon, I think I already got a neighbor that takes his kids somewhere nearby, so I might drop by here in the next few weeks and bring my kids to practice.
There we go. Because you're in Chino Hills, correct?
I'm in Riverside.
Oh, you're in Riverside, which
Yeah.
is San Diego, kind of
It's
south
Riverside
of San
County is
Diego.
its own. Yeah, the Riverside County is its own county. It's if you picture like Orange County, you're like more inland.
Yeah.
You're from Orange County, so like you're an hour to the beach. You're an hour to the mountains. You're an hour down to like Temecula area in LA. So you're kind of central to all that. So just think more inland, I guess,
Okay.
from the beach.
Gotcha. My brother lived in, oh, geez. Why can't I remember this now? He lived down south, Ramona. Ramona. He lived in Ramona for a while.
Okay, have to see where that. It's funny. I've been in California longer than any other state now. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's 10 years. I still don't know where everything's at though. So,
Ramona's south of San Diego. Like it's
okay,
it's it's pretty south. Geez, I think it's even a little more south of Poway, if you know where Poway is.
that sounds familiar.
Um, so you're more north in an LA area, correct? I assume.
Yeah, LA. So yeah, like I said, Riverside's the county kind of goes almost all the way across the state.
Yeah.
We're I don't know how to explain that, but yeah, just we're just if you're going from the beach up,
Yeah.
we're inland, past the mountains. So, takes a little ways we're not all the way up in LA or
Yeah.
further away from LA. It's Inland Empire is like the big area they call it,
I'm surprised you don't have to live in LA County.
No, you don't have to live where you work.
Do you
It's
have to live close enough to the station though, or something like a certain radius?
there's guys who live out of state. It's crazy.
What?
Well, it's a nightmare I wouldn't want to deal with, but
Right.
they move their schedule around enough to try and work 10 days in a row, wherever long they can, and then just go home the rest of the time. So they fly in best they can. But yes, we're not on call. Like, we have our scheduled shifts. Granted, we have our campaign fires and big stuff happened recently in LA where everybody was working regardless. But we don't have any sort of requirement to live a certain distance. Because I think I was looking at Dubuque fire, and I think they had something like that. You had to live a certain distance. You couldn't live too far away from Dubuque, something like that.
Yeah. I figured that would be the way with you guys. I mean, with as many emergencies as you might get and how quick you have to be to respond, I figured you'd have to be in a certain radius of the station so you could, be there quicker.
No, it's we always have personnel at the stations, and if there's an emergency,
True. Yeah.
we have a reactive force. It's hey, the strike team's going out right now, so you'll be at your station running calls, doing your thing as an engineer, captain, firefighter, whatever you're doing. All of a sudden, bam, brush fire breaks out, you're gone instantly.
Yeah.
And then they'll do move ups. We're kind of working a little short. We'll take one engine, we'll move it up to a busier area where that one just left to go on the fire. And so it's quick, we can send a team out incredibly fast to a fire. And then when it becomes to oh, this thing's getting big, it's becoming a campaign fire. The staffing wheels start turning, and then guys are getting recalled and pulled back in. It works quickly, works efficiently enough to where, we can be quick about it.
Yeah. You brought up kind of recently, and I don't want to say I forgot, but it didn't dawn on me till now. The LA fires, man, what was that like for you? I mean, were you out as much as you care to share? I mean, what was that like to be
It would have been
involved
great
in
if
that?
I was actually there. I was in paramedic school, and when you're in paramedic school, you're kind of off the roster per se. You're
Wow.
I'm sitting there at the hospital doing my shifts in what we call clinicals, because you do the didactic classroom portion. If you pass all that, you have hospitals, and then you have a few more months running, being assessed to see if you can run calls as a paramedic to pass. So I was doing my shift, just watching the fires from the TV, seeing all my buddies sending me videos of the hellscape they were in. Just absolute crazy winds. The fires were absolutely nuts out there. They talked about, I've heard stories of them saying they didn't have the water, but the most recent fires, unfortunately, I was in school during the time and I didn't get to go on those. And I feel for everyone affected, but when you work a job and you want to do that job, it sucks to sit back from the sidelines a little bit and see all your friends out there trying to do their best. So.
Wow. So you were,
Yeah.
man. I mean, it's probably a, kind of a good thing, bad thing. The good thing, I'm sure your family would say that, you weren't in harm's way, but obviously that's what you train for. I mean, that's exactly what everything that you put in is for something like that, to be ready to go out and help, so. And I'm sure it sounds like a little bit, honestly, I think you're a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, huh? Maybe?
Yeah, I think a little bit, something tells me that was also the reason why, when I was in school, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I heard about firefighting out here, and I heard good benefits and good pay. And this is all the stuff you get to do. You're really?
Yeah.
That's why I'm happy with this job. It's I like the excitement.
Yeah, cool. And so parents still live in the same acreage in Epworth?
In Durango. I just remembered. Over in
Oh,
Durango.
Durango.
Yep. Yeah, they're in outside Epworth. They have some good acreage out there, good hunt land. I got to visit them a couple months ago. I think over in June. I was out there a couple of weeks. My brother, who's in Texas, drove up and got the whole family together.
Oh, your brother's in Texas?
Yeah, brother's in Texas. And my sister is, and my two other sisters are in Iowa.
Geez, you guys are kind of scattered all over the place.
It's like my whole family's like that. It's I don't know what it
Yeah.
is like both sides. I have family all over the country, and we'll just it's cool. Like I love
Mhm.
the Iowa model. Like so many families are so close knit and stay there, and I think that's just so cool because me and my wife are like we're envious a little bit of close families. We want to build like a generational home where we can
Mhm.
all just be together. But it's funny. I don't know whether what it is some sort of weird colonial blood or something. But my family is just never feel that grounded. We just move and go everywhere. I moved a few times when I was little too. So, New Hampshire to Iowa to
Mhm.
Southern California. Even when I was in California, I was after I got the Marines. I wasn't thinking about staying here. I was just looking for a job anywhere. But sure enough, got one
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah. You need to work on your tan a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But no, it sounds like you're, you know, kind of found a little bit of what do I want to say? Um, kind of a little bit of a peace. I mean, it's still controlled chaos. Don't get me wrong. Like, but for you, it sounds like you're finally getting a little bit of a hold on life a little bit, where you're like, all right, I got this thing figured out a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I found my happy place over here.
Yeah.
You know, um, it's cool.
Riverside, California.
It's cool. I've like I said, that attitude, or somehow I've gotten from wrestling, where not staying stagnant in a way where like I'm 36 and I just got done with paramedic school, and there's going to be more opportunities for learning because we homeschool our kids too now, and our mentality is you never stop learning. It's not like this thing that you just do to get a job and you're done. There's
Hmm.
there's all sorts of opportunities out there. So I'm really happy I've had a lot of opportunities to just kind of keep pushing and moving around, and not staying stagnant, because that's such a blessing, to be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Are you ever just gonna like chill? Like, are you ever just
I mean,
gonna,
I think I
God,
chill.
just like,
I
ground?
definitely, yeah. I'm like my wife. I remember growing up. My mom's like, "You're the laziest hard worker I know." She told me one time. Because like I would just like destroy myself in wrestling and like work push so hard, but it's like try to get me to take out the garbage was like almost an impossibility. I mean, I'm better now, but I
Yeah.
remember that. But I do chill. I definitely do plenty of chilling. Trust me, it sounds wild and crazy, and it is at times, but I get a lot of time to relax at home and have a good life.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. A special thanks to my guest, Noah Southworth, for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. Cover art created and designed by Kristen Gill. Please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe to the podcast, and check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and my Facebook page to hear more of my content. And don't forget to check out my website at letstalkwrestlingpodcast.my.canva.site. And as always, be sure to tune in to hear the next guest of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Take care. See you next time.